a good first step. Redid some of the wiring, and now the starter button works. Alrighty, so done a lot of good work so far. Show you guys what I've done. I replaced the stock handlebars with these shorty straight bars. I think it looks pretty bitchin'. And used these old grips that I had, because the other ones were kind of wore out and faded and whatnot. This is the original brake master cylinder, which unfortunately is seized. You can tell because this thing moves back and forth well enough, but the little plunger in there is just not coming out. So I'll see if I can tinker with it, maybe try and work it up a bit. I'm not going to buy a rebuild kit for it. Generally for these master cylinders I just replace them. I'd like to use this one because it's got that really nice cap here. You know, I know it's kind of faded and wore down, but I like the way that it looks. I like the gold inlay on the black. I think that's pretty bitchin'. But if I can't use it, then what I'm going to do is use one of these master cylinders, which I just bought at a swap meet. I love these old CB master cylinders. I think they're cool, and they last forever. I don't think I've ever found one that was seized. I'm sure you guys are going to write in and say, oh, I found it seized, blah, blah, blah. But I think they're just great. Great design. I think they look really classy with this big bulbous reservoir. I just really like them. So maybe I'll put one of those on there. I rewired the electricals yesterday. So we start with the starter button. Isn't this the coolest starter button too? It's the kill switch, but you push it in for the starter button. That's just neat. Alright. So what are we going to do today? Today we're going to do carburetors. I can tell just by trying to twist this here that the carburetors are seized. I know it's not the cable because I see the cable trying to pull up on the carburetors and it's just seized up. So that's not that big of a deal. You know, I'll just rip them out of there, lubricate them up, maybe let them sit for a while and just try and work them back and forth with the linkage and free it up. More often than not, they'll free up. You know, it's rare that I've come across a set of carburetors that were so seized that it would like destroy them to break them free. So yeah, that's the next step. Rip those out of there and see what there is to be seen. I'm using the boot removal strategy for getting these carburetors out. I just yanked out the airbox boots here. Gives me plenty of room to maneuver the carbs and jiggle them back so I can remove them. And then once I reinstall the carbs, once they're good and clean and not seized up, I'll put the boots back in. So yeah, the throttle seems to be stuck in the open position. You can see it's just not very fluid at all. So that's going to be my first step in the restoration of these carbs, is to just lubricate all this linkage here and see if I can get it to close on its own and close all the way. It's a lot better. Linkage now tight and snappy. Stuck. It's better. This one's stuck. There we go. Good job. Alright. A little bit of WD-40. These are all moving freely. Hear the whooshy whoosh. Very good. So now what I'm going to do is open up the bowls and see what's in there. Probably clean out the jets. Free up any sticky slides, set the float height. I'm sorry, free up any sticky floats, set the float height, and then should be about done. Alright, now for demonstrative purposes, these nasty motherfuckers, which have been sitting for 10, 12 years with gas in them. Here's clean. This is how they started out. Pretty gross. All kinds of shit everywhere. Got the bowls soaking. This is what it did to the carb cleaner. All my parts here. Jets soaking in nasty carb cleaner. So just plowing our way through them. These are stuck. Gross. So recently I was down in Chinatown and I bought all these little dentistry implements for $5 in a little bodega. I still use my welder's tips cleaners for carburetor jet cleaning out, but I use these too now. Just little pokey tools, tweezers, hemostats, other tweezers. Makes the job a lot easier. While I was soaking all the shit out of the carbs, I decided to work on this cable here, and I freed it up. So it was determined that the other brake master cylinder was no good, unrestorable, so I just replaced it from my stock of many things for this one. Alright, so I got the carbs all cleaned up and they're reinstalled. We're going to gas it up and try and get it to fire up. I just have this this loaner tank off of Yamaha on it for now, so I'm not sure what direction I'm going to take for the tanks, but regardless of what I do, I need to clean out the tanks anyway. But so just to see if the bike fires up, we're going to gas it up and see what happens. Well, just a bunch of spitting and sputtering, so I'm going to test the spark. I got my little spark tester here. You can see that flashes, so now we're getting spark there. But nothing there. So it's the same on the other side, so we're not getting spark on 2 and 3. So I'm going to recheck the coil, make sure it's all hooked up properly, and see if we can't get it to spark. One disconnected coil lead. Reconnect that, see what happens. Good, so that fixed it. Still no action though, just a bunch of sputtering, so I'm going to take out the spark plugs, see if they're fouled, and maybe that's the cause of the no-run situation. So they were all 4 of them pretty bad off. I swapped them in for some better ones, at least cleaner ones. We'll see if that does the trick. So it's running good and sounding really sexy. Wired the headlight back up. Took all this junk off here for now. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to organize all this, but I've got to take the old ignition out and mount the new one in here somehow. And then see if I just want, like, you know, one speedometer right here, or basically to see how it goes. Still to come, we have tank to set up. We've got a seat to figure out. I have to kick all this shit away. I have to figure out whether or not I'm going to be using the side panels or do like a, a see-through type thing. But yeah, pretty good work for today. I'm pretty proud.